Hey, what's up, guys? It's Phil Morrison, dating coach for men with social anxiety. Today I'm going to provide some advice on the topic of managing stress and preventing burning out. So I'm pretty sure that every single person who's watching this video will have burnt out at some point in their lives, and it's not pleasant. And anyone that has burnt out and experienced high levels of stress can benefit from using various tools and techniques to better manage stress. And often I find that the really simple tools are actually the best ones. So firstly, I want to talk about this concept known as the PPC balance. And this concept is about balancing being productive and working with rest. And it comes from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey, which is a really fantastic book. And I would say it's actually my favourite personal development book ever. So he describes this concept by talking about Aesop's fable. So back in olden times in Greece, there's this poor farmer called Aesop. And Aesop, he keeps geese. And basically he sells the eggs to make money. So he's really, really poor. And he just about scrapes by. So then one day, he goes down to the pen where he keeps, actually it's not geese, it's one goose, because he's super poor, just one goose. He goes down to the pen and he finds a golden egg. And at first he's taken back by this, like, wow, a golden egg, never seen this before. So he goes down to a local expert and says, hey, I've got this golden egg. Is it actually real gold? And the guy says, yeah, it's real gold. It's worth a lot. Then he sells the egg and makes a small fortune. And the next day, he comes down into the pen. There's another golden egg. He's amazed. He can't believe it. And then it's real as well. He makes even more money. Then this happens the third day, the fourth day, and he's absolutely overwhelmed by this. It's really incredible for such a poor farmer to suddenly come into all this money. Then he conjures up this plan. He says, he reasons that I've got this goose with all these golden eggs in its stomach, and I want to get all the gold that's possible. So let's kill the goose, take the eggs out of the stomach, and then sell them all. So he does this, he kills the goose, opens up the stomach, and there's nothing there. And of course he's super disappointed by the fact that there's no golden eggs there. And also, he realizes what he's actually done. He's killed the goose which was producing the golden eggs. So now he's lost his source of golden eggs. So I'll explain how this relates to this PPC balance, which is about producing results in your life, golden eggs, and also balancing your goose, right? The thing that's producing the result that you want. So you are the goose, and the golden egg is the golden eggs are the result of your action taken. And this could be you getting fit and healthy, meeting a work deadline, writing a paper, whatever your result might be. And essentially, if you overwork and you try to get all the results in a short term, so all the results right now, you fall into the trap that Aesop falls into, where you overwork and you actually destroy your own creativity, your own ability to think and achieve results. You get burnt out, and then you can do nothing at all. So when you burn out, that's basically when you've destroyed yourself and your ability to produce results, a little bit like when Aesop kills the goose that's making the golden eggs. So the key is to keep the balance right between being productive but not burning out. And this is what the PPC balance is. So if you imagine a horizontal line, and at one end of the line is the letters PC, and at the other end is the letter P. So PC stands for production capacity. So this is the capacity that you have to produce results, the energy levels that you have. Let's say that the mental and physical resources. Then the P stands for the product. So this is the actual result of your labour, whether that is a paper you're submitting, some particular job that you've completed. And it's very, very possible to get this balance wrong. And if you feel that each day you're more depleted than the previous, even though you're producing results, you know that your production capacity is going down, and suddenly you'll start to do a worse job. You'll start to write a really bad paper, and suddenly, if you keep on going, you would kill the goose. But if you can keep your production capacity in check, so you're well rested, you're fresh, you've got lots of energy, and you can do some quality work and then keep yourself rested, you can continue to do quality work over a long period of time, enjoy the fruits of your labour and not burn out. So you're keeping that goose alive all the time. So that's what the PPC balance is all about, and it's really important to be aware of early signs that you're burning out, so you can take preventative action. And some really common signs. So one is when people lose the ability to laugh and have fun, and this happens when you find that you're watching a comedy show and you're so serious that you can't just lighten up and have a laugh. People that are starting to burn out tend to go really heavy and tense. You can, if you're with someone that is burning out, you can really feel that pressure and stress coming from them. And if you speak to someone that is going through that burnout process, I've done that before, the person is unable to be fully present in the interaction. Maybe they're 80% present, but they're not 100% present in the particular interaction or whatever activity they're doing. So these are some early signs that you might be burning out. And there's two strategies to manage stress based on this PPC balance. One is to learn how to be better at restoring the balance. So if you feel yourself burning out, you have great tools available to you to replenish your energy, recharge your batteries, so to speak. The other strategy to manage stress is to actually increase your production capacity, so that you can do the same things but actually be less stressed out. They don't drain your batteries as much because you're basically stronger and capable of actually working more. So I'm going to talk about both of these. So first, the production capacity, your ability to actually work, produce results, and how do you actually go about increasing this so that stress doesn't affect you quite as much. So one way to do this is by changing changing your perspective and having a really healthy perspective and healthy focus. And for example, you can decide on some goals that you want to achieve, things that you're going to work towards. And then when you have the goals, so for example, in my case, I've got this life coaching business, which I've built through networking with people, and I used to coach people for free, and now I coach people on a paid level. But a goal of mine that I'm working towards right now would be to build the social media up over the course of the next 1 to 2 years, so that I can help people out and also get more clients through social media. So that would be a goal of mine. And then I break that down into actions, to the right kind of habits and steps that are going to allow me to achieve this goal. And once you have the goal, and then you've decided upon the actions that you're going to take, the best thing you can do then is fuck off the goal and just enjoy the process. So what this basically means is, you've got this goal, then you've decided on an action plan that you're going to follow through with to achieve this goal. And once you've got the action plan, let go of the goal. Don't worry about the goal. Just enjoy the process, enjoy the action taking, and don't have any expectations of achieving the goal or try to control anything. Literally just enjoy the process. This is a really, really great mindset, as it's the action taking that's going to get you the results. So now you have an action plan and you're actually taking the action. Why would you bother stressing about whether you're achieving the result today, tomorrow? Doesn't matter. And give yourself adequate time to actually achieve goals. So in my case, I've said, okay, I'm going to build the social media up over the next 1 to 2 years. Give myself 1 to 2 years to build this thing, and therefore when I'm shooting a video, it's really not that big of a deal, since I'm not expecting this video to go viral or something like that. I'm just enjoying myself, sharing value, and that's simply it. So along with this idea of basically disciplining your focus and not really thinking about these big overarching goals, which can burden you, because big goals can be intimidating to achieve, just enjoying actions. You also want to simplify your focus massively. So for example, right now, I'm literally just thinking that all I'm doing is having a conversation. I'm just talking. There's nothing more to what I'm doing now than talking. If I go out there and meet people, I'm thinking the same thing. Okay, let's just go and have a nice chat with some people. A lot of people have a habit of overcomplicating what they're doing in their lives, and I know people that do this, and I used to do this. And you'll see people leaving their house, and they're going to the shop to get some food shopping, and it's almost like their mentality is that they have to solve the Enigma code, but they're just going to go and get some food shopping. It's simple stuff. Society is built for everyone to function. People that are fit and healthy, people that might have physical disabilities, people that are smart, people that are not as smart. So most things that you're doing in your day-to-day life are actually really simple when you break it down. And if you heavily simplify your focus, you'll be way less overwhelmed by different tasks that lie in front of you. And you can have a really simple to-do list with like 3 things on, and make it as straightforward and plain and easy as possible for yourself. So simplifying your focus and just being like, right, I have 2 focuses, let's work on my dating life, let's get fit and healthy. All I've got to do is get more confident and exercise. Just focus on those 2 things. If you break it down like that, it's way less daunting, and you'll find that you can work a lot more without feeling drained and getting stressed out. The other great way to improve your production capacity, aside from changing the focus and perspective, is to lower the resting heart rate. This really does increase your ability to work hard and produce results and literally experience less stress. So working on your cardiovascular fitness is an absolute game changer, and realistically you want to be going to the gym or an exercise class at least 3 times a week, and keep this up for at least 3 months to start to see results. And if you do this on a long-term basis and you're really consistent with this, you will experience less stress as your resting heart rate goes down. And something which I've experimented with relatively recently, that you may have heard of this, the Wim Hof method. This actually really works for lowering stress, lowering the resting heart rate. And basically, what you can do if you want to start experiencing these benefits. So when you have a shower in the morning, for the last 30 seconds, make it fully cold. So if you have a hot and cold tap, turn the hot tap off completely and stand under the cold water for 30 seconds. And when you do this, you'll probably gasp. You'll be a bit shocked at how cold it is. The guy himself, Wim Hof, says that, cold water is absolutely merciless. It's brutal, but it's also fair as well, and it also is it's a stressor. And over time, so after a few weeks of 30 seconds of cold, increase it to 45 seconds, and then 1 minute, and work your way up to 2 minutes. And by the time you've got to 2 minutes, your resting heart rate will be lower than it was when you could only manage 30 seconds. And his theory for how this works is that we have these muscles around our vessels which regulate the vascular tone. And basically what this means is that they can contract to constrict our vessels, and they can expand to expand our vessels. They can relax, and this is to control where the blood goes in our body. And Wim Hof's idea is that us humans, we basically have weak vascular tone. These muscles are undertrained because we regulate our body temperatures so much. So we're wearing clothes all the time, we're indoors, we have central heating, and we don't really get exposed to the elements enough. And this is why when you're exposed to cold water, it really encourages these muscles to contract, so that blood basically goes to your vital organs. So it's redirected from less important parts of your body, and the central important bits, they get more blood. So you're basically giving these muscles a workout when you go under the cold water. And actually I did try this out, and I have one of those Fitbit sports watches, and it did work to decrease my heart rate quite a lot, as well as doing the cardio on a regular basis. And so if I go back some time, I used to have a really high resting heart rate. It was actually in the high 80s when I was less healthy, which is partly genetic and partly diet as well. And right now it's mid 50s, so it's massive difference. And I can honestly say that I'm much less stressed out. So another way to increase the production capacity, your ability to produce results in your life, but not get too stressed out, is to actually get a lot more confident and less afraid. So this comes from taking on challenges, facing stress, overcoming stress, and basically becoming more confident and more tough. and this is a long-term thing which you can start working on today. And for example, the idea is that, let's say right now, me doing this video, there's going to be a level of adrenaline in my body because I'm at a public park, there's people around, people can hear me. But if I do this every day for 6 months, it's going to be less of a big deal. Almost like you're at the gym and you're lifting a certain weight and you're acclimatizing to that weight, and after a while it seems like it's a lightweight. So if I was to put myself in lots of really intense environments and get used to that, for example, let me just rephrase that. So the point that I was making is that if you get used to a high intensity, something which is especially scary becomes normal, then other things that would normally stress you out, they hardly scratch the surface. So for example, one of my hobbies is improv comedy, and when you can do improv on a stage with people watching, going and talking to a girl that catches your eye doesn't stress you out anywhere near as much because it's so minor in comparison. So you can basically get better at dealing with stress by facing fears, proving to your brain that you can handle this. But this is a long-term thing, a little bit like going to the gym and lifting weights. So facing fears and being honest as well proves to your brain that you're safe in that particular environment when you're doing that particular activity, and over time this means you're going to be less stressed out in the same situation. So in other words, as well as focus and reducing your resting heart rate, exposure therapy through facing fears and being honest also increases your ability to work without getting stressed out. And the third thing which you can do, which is simple and obvious, is to make sure that you're getting enough rest. And this is something that I used to get wrong. So I used to think that I only needed 1 day off a week. So I'd work for 6 days, then take 1 day off and think that was fine. But slowly, but I realized that I was slowly, from week to week, becoming more depleted, and eventually I was reaching that burnout stage. So what I do currently is I work for 5 or 6 days consecutively, then have 2 days off back to back. And this really does help me to, it gives me the extra bit of stamina, the extra power, I've got more in the tank basically. And the fact that I know I have these 2 days off actually allows me to work harder, because I've got those 2 days where I can fully relax and I know that I'm going to be fully recharged after that little break, so I can actually work that a bit harder, knowing that I've got the rest period just around the corner. And also, as well as having the 2 days off, sounds really obvious, you will have definitely heard this before, it's nothing new, but you want to make sure that you're having 7 to 9 hours sleep every single night. You don't need to go above this. There is actually problems with people that sleep too much, but definitely don't be going below 7 hours on a regular basis. So make sure that you're having, I would say, at least 8 hours in bed every single night. I personally do 9 hours in bed, but I know that some people have really early starts. So getting the rest right definitely increases your production capacity as well. So now I'm going to talk about the other side of the spectrum. So as well as increasing your ability to actually work without getting burnt out, you want to have great tools to bring yourself back, restore the balance and recharge your batteries if you do find yourself burning out. And obviously rest is a tool which works, and a great little mindset is to not to say to yourself, how can I become a master at de-stressing, and how can I optimally de-stress and get myself back as fast as possible, because this puts enormous pressure on yourself. Instead, say, how can I de-stress a little bit better than I normally would? How can I end today with more energy in the tank than I started with? And if you have that mindset of just getting a little bit better at handling stress, de-stressing a little bit better than you normally would do, it takes that pressure off yourself. So give yourself time to de-stress. Don't try to force it, or don't try to fall into the trap of thinking that you can de-stress really, really fast, because the reality is that it takes time. Your body's got its own natural processes. So give yourself a minimum of 1 day, I would say 2 days, and there's several things you can do to start to restore the balance. I actually made a note of some things on my phone, so I'm going to check what I wrote down, and then I'm going to do a YouTube short series as well with different things that you can try. So one thing which really does work is spend an entire day where you tidy your house, your room as much as possible, and you do the meal prep for the entire week ahead. This really does help to de-stress you and recharge your batteries significantly. So if you're stuck for ideas and you want to try something out to de-stress, definitely do this. And actually, if you're currently stressed out, I encourage you to reinterpret that stress as excitement, because it's actually an opportunity. You know, in the past, you've been burnt out in the past, and you're gonna get burnt out in the future as well. And here you have an opportunity to practice some tools to de-stress and actually find out which works best for you. And when you know what works for yourself, you can be more confident going out there and working, because even though you're not going to burn out, you know that when you sense those early signs, the early warning signs of burning out, you have tried and tested tools that are going to bring you back and get your batteries recharged. So tidying your room actually works amazingly well, something that I've been surprised with so many times. Spending time in really nice places makes a massive difference as well. And nice places don't have to be that expensive, it depends what you're doing. So you can go to super posh hotels and just buy coffee, and the coffee might be £5 in a super high-end, 5-star hotel. But you can spend a whole hour there just having a coffee, taking in the atmosphere,